Listen.
Welcome to the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus. Welcome to Battle Bus Live. I am Brian Rose and we are live on the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus. Today I'm heading out to the borough of Lewisham. Can't wait to get back out to that borough. I think I was there just a few weeks ago. Super excited to talk about a bunch of the issues that are being faced out in Lewisham. The big one are these LTNs, the low traffic neighborhoods that are frustrating everybody from Ealing to Enfield to Lewisham, even down to Southwark and Lambeth. Everybody is frustrated with this mayor's scheme that was deemed illegal by the High Court. It's been pushed through during lockdown. It's causing millions of pounds of fines. It's causing ambulances. I want to talk about our housing policy and our incredible, bold new plan to build 50,000 homes by Christmas of this year. Yes, you heard me right. Christmas of this year, 50,000 new homes. And I've got a never before seen picture right now to share with you of exactly what this site's going to look like on Hackney Wick. The architecture firm we've been working with, my good friend Chris Wilkinson at Wilkinson Air, has actually shown me a mock-up of what the houses are going to look like. These are going to be up before Christmas, which will mean that we've already blown through every other mayor of London's plans to build affordable housing in a matter of months. We're super excited about this. I'm going to share with that to you today. Also, I'm going to talk about the London Real Party. We're so proud to have our own party, and it's really cool because if you go to any major odds makers in the world right now, number 2, it says Brian Rose of the London Real Party. It's nice to see that there. You can join the London Real Party today. I'll give you more details about how to do that, and I'm excited to get started. So again, first of all, want to say it's a Good Friday. I'm sending all my well wishes to everybody celebrating this incredible day. We are out there because it's important to get our ideas in front of people. I just spent about 30 minutes outside Old Street talking to everybody that walked by that had questions about policing, about knife crime, about our communities, about how to rebuild the economy. And I love talking about these policies because they're so important to me. And I love going through the boroughs here of London. It's great to just be out here on the streets. And so we are less than 5 weeks away from electing a new mayor of London. Now, you might not follow politics, but this is an important time because this will decide years of what your life is like. If you're unhappy with the economy, if you're unhappy or feel unsick, and choose your leader. And that's what this is about. This is about transport. This is about congestion. Vote on May 6th. It's your right in a democracy. And again, choose who you're going to vote. Very excited. We are in second place, and where you'll see all of our policies right there in black and white. Actually, that's not true. It's in red, white, and blue. But you can see if you're on the Cromwell Road, there's 10,000 new officers on the streets. There's 50,000 new affordable homes by Christmas. Abolish the congestion charge until 2022. That always gets people's attention. I was just speaking with an incredible young woman at Old Street right now, and she said, Brian, the congestion charge means my friends can't visit me during the weekend. That's the problem, and it frustrates me. And she said, they don't have enough money to pay for this. And I said, exactly. It hurts people with lower incomes even more than the rest. And that's what the current Labour mayor of London is doing to you. He's stifling the economy because he has increased taxes on everybody. And I want to abolish that until 2022. And here's a quick video of what some of those ads look like outside. Again, if you see them, take a picture, post on your social, hashtag Brian for Mayor, and I'm sending it. And again, if you see our bus out on the road, if you see any of our ads on YouTube or out on billboards or on digital screens, take a picture of it, put it on your social, hashtag Brian for Mayor, and I'm going to send you out free coffee cups, free t-shirts, free bracelets, free buttons, Brian for Mayor. This all comes out to you. So again, tell me where you spot it. We want to see it. And if you don't know what the bus looks like, here's a picture of the digital battle bus. It's pretty impressive. You know, it's got my big head on the side of this bus and it rolls down the street. It's got our website there. It's got that important date, May 6th. And again, I spoke to so many people in the streets today about our policies, and I said, if you want to know more, Go to brianformayor.london. I've got detailed policies about everything I believe in, from rebuilding the economy to our problems with transport, crime, and housing. And our new manifesto will be dropping in a matter of days, and you'll be able to go to our website and download that and also get printed copies. Again, this is detail about exactly how I plan to change London, and we're really excited to drop that on you as well. A couple other things. I want to say a big shout out to the Brian for Mayor volunteers. I'm talking about hundreds of people that are out there in the streets right now as we speak, handing out leaflets, talking to citizens of London. I had them all on a video call this week. They came by the studio as well. It was amazing to see such energy. These people ran over to City Hall. I think they held out some messages for the current mayor of London and said, you know what, it's time to start packing up your things. They're very passionate because they really believe in what we're doing here, and I want to thank them. If you want to be part of the volunteer process, go to brianformayor.london/volunteer, and you can join. It's amazing. It's an incredible way to see behind the scenes, and we're really excited and thankful for all of our volunteers. Another big thing that just happened is the launch of the London Real Party. It's official, and you can become a member right now. This is what it looks like, the London Real Party, and you can become a member. If you go to the brianformayor.london website, you can find out more information, but we are an official party. We are fielding not only myself for Mayor of London, but we are fielding 4 candidates right now for the Greater London Assembly because we are dedicated to local politics for the next 10 or 20 years. This is important to us. This is a deep, deep part of who I am as a person, of who London Real is, and now we decided to include the London Real Party and make a real long-term change of what this city is all about. There's never been a party for London. Isn't that incredible? We are the party for London, the London Real Party. If you want to join, please do. And again, the London Real Party stands for important things like determination, innovation, perseverance, fortitude, and that famous British indomitable spirit. That's what we're about, and I want to tell you more about that later, but we couldn't be more proud. A couple more things happen, and we've got all sorts of things happening in print, and you see some newspapers in front of me. First, I want to show you the most important newspaper with a circulation almost as big as the Times, and that is the London Real Courier. You'll see this on screen as well, and we'll play a video in just a second, but this is what it looks like. This is our own newspaper. This has gone out to 250,000 homes in the world, and you'll see all sorts of articles about me, talking about my policies and interacting with all sorts of famous people and amazing people on the streets, as well as a real failure by our current Labour mayor. And here's actually a short video of us printing this newspaper behind the scenes. Oh, sorry, I got caught up here. This is great stuff. So there it is, London Real Courier. Go to our website if you want to order some copies. Right now in London, we've already had 1 million of our leaflets going out, and we are going to continue pushing our message because I'm so passionate. You know, I just spoke with a young guy and watched this current crop of politicians run this. Let's make London a world-class city once again. Also, I want to talk about some other press that's happening, and that's this incredible article that came out this week in the Times. You can probably get a close-up of it here. And this is me posing with my wife Mariana in the studio. Now this picture shows us not smiling, but I promise we definitely were smiling for many of the pictures they took, but they took the very serious picture, and it is a great picture. And the article says, who on earth does Brian Rose think he is? And that's a great question. Who on earth does Brian Rose think he is? And the article goes on to talk about a lot of my history, the history of London Real, the fact that I used to be a Wall Street banker, and then it gets into my detailed policies here. 10,000 new police on TfL land policy, moved to see the fact that one of the greatest newspapers in the world was willing to spend time with me and talk about our policies. They're so very, very important. If you want to read this whole article, go to the Times website, or you can pick up a copy if you can go find some old newspapers. And again, more press is coming because people know that we are a real candidate for the next mayor of London. And on May 6th, we are going to pull off the greatest upset in British political history and become the next mayor of London and not be part of the two-party system, and we're very proud of that. Again, the circulation of this newspaper is 420,000. It's one of the largest papers in London, and there'll be a lot more of this press coming soon. Couple last things. People on the streets are saying, Brian, how can I get the t-shirts? How can I get the mugs? If you go to brianformayor.london, you can get all of that swag. You can also donate, and whether it's £5 or £500, we could really appreciate it. It helps us get the message out there and do more of what we want to do. You can also order stickers on the website, and you can register for your postal vote, brianformayor.london/postal, and lock your vote in right now. We'll send you that postal vote in the mail, or we'll email you a copy. All right, I got a lot I want to talk about today, but first I want to hear from you. So right now, yes, I'm talking to you. Type a question in right now. I want you to answer this for me. First of all, tell me, what borough do you live in? I'm heading to Lewisham right now. Or what city do you live in if you're joining us from somewhere around the world? What is the single biggest challenge you face? What's the question you want to ask me? Type it in right now. All of your questions are coming live right to me here. Second, are you excited for the London Real Party? And who do you plan to vote for on May 6th? Be honest and tell me. I want to hear. Next, do you believe that the polls are right? Or do you think it's time that we break the hold of the two-party system and start promoting new ideas and a fresh look at London going forward? I want to talk about the polls later. Fourthly, do you agree with my policies to completely rethink LTNs, abolish the congestion charge until 2022, and build more affordable homes by Christmas, 50,000? And finally, do you think it's time for new leadership? Do you think it's time for fresh ideas and a new vision to take London in a new direction? So type in your questions below. I want to get to your questions in just a second. First, I want to say I'm visiting Lewisham today. Great to be out here. This is a fantastic representation of what modern London looks like. It's home to the residents of more than 75 nationalities right here in Lewisham. Very proud to be here. It's actually was recently named the London Borough of Culture. It's going to be that for the entire year of 2022. There's going to be a number of events happening in Lewisham promoting the environment and diversity. These are both strong themes that are part of the London Real Party as well, and we really appreciate everything that makes Lewisham great. But despite that, Lewisham has some issues, and that's why I'm here today, because I'm here out in these boroughs to find out what's really going on. And one of the big problems they have is that 37% of the child population is living in poverty right here in the city of London, and it's really a problem out in Lewisham. And I want to talk about that today because we've got to address these issues. Also, lack of affordable housing is a massive part of that poverty. And I want to show with you and share with you some of my ideas. According to the council, and this is a quote, Lewisham, along with the rest of London, is facing an unprecedented housing crisis. There are not enough genuinely affordable homes for those who need them. The cost of housing has increased and incomes have not kept pace, unquote. That's according to the own council in Lewisham. And so the truth is we need a policy that addresses this. And you know, the more I have studied mayoral politics here in London for the past 10 years, there's a lot of talk about building affordable housing. Boris Johnson talked about it for 8 years. Sadiq Khan has talked about building housing for 5 years. He promised us 400,000 new homes. Do you know how many he's delivered? 3% of that promise. He has only built 12,000 new homes in 5 years. I don't know what he's waiting for. He's received over £4.8 billion from the national government. He's told us all of his big plans, but he hasn't built what he promised, or not anywhere near what he's built. And so it's time for a new person with business experience like myself, 30 years of business experience in the private sector, to come in with some fresh ideas. And I want to share with you those ideas right now for the very first time. And it's called modular housing. And back in Christmas, I think it was about December 27th, I sent out a message on LinkedIn to a gentleman named Chris Wilkinson. And Chris is an incredible, incredible architect. He runs the firm Wilkinson Air, who is one of the most successful worldwide architectural firms. He's built buildings from Shanghai to South America, and he also built a lot of very impressive buildings here in London, currently working on some incredible projects like the Battersea Power Station. And I said to Chris, you know what? I saw how you built modular homes for Sir James Dyson out on his corporate headquarters. They look amazing, they look beautiful, they look modern, they look environmentally friendly, and it looks like we can actually build these fast. And Chris got back to me and we started having Zoom calls, and he said, Brian, I love your energy. I want to do this with you, and I'm going to give you my resources free of charge and back this plan for you. And we started brainstorming, and we started having call after call of how we could actually put modular homes on TfL land. This is land we already own, and get those things built by Christmas, right? Usually politicians take 3, 4, 5, 6 years to build a house if they ever do it. Our mayor currently hasn't built much at all. And Chris said, Brian, let's make a change here. Let's show Londoners that we can actually do what we say we're going to do. And so this is the first time I'm showing these pictures to the public, and I'm super excited. And again, I want to give the credit to Chris Wilkinson. He's an incredible man with an incredible vision. And this is something that came from his firm. Here's a picture right now of the new affordable housing that I will be building before Christmas as your next mayor. This is Hackney Wick. This is the actual site, and you see those houses there. And again, I want to punch in now to a close-up of those. And this is the same street, but you can actually see these modular homes, and you can see they're stacked 4 stories tall, which is something that Chris and I talked about. You can see that they're beautifully built. They have very cool features and overhangs. And one thing really important to understand about these houses is they're customizable. They can be customized to 2-person family, 3, 4, 5, 6-person family. They're designed, built in a factory, and shipped out, and can be built here within weeks. They're beautiful homes. They're environmentally friendly. They're built on TfL land, and this is exactly what they're going to look like before Christmas of this year. Have you seen any candidate for mayor show you the homes they're going to build? I wish the mayor had done this 5 years ago, because then he would actually have something that we could hold him accountable to. But no, it was all words. This is what the houses actually look like. And again, we're so proud to be showing you this image today. This is the way forward for London. And once we build these homes, the whole population and all of politics will say, wow, look at what they did in a few months. We're going to have to actually get our game together and start holding ourselves more accountable, because in business, where I come from, you either do what you say you're going to do or you get eliminated. And so that's why we're going to hold the City of London accountable till they build these very homes, and we're very excited. I want to share a few more pictures with you. This is a picture of what those modular homes look at scale. Again, one of the many drawings that Chris Wilkinson made for us. And this is just another look at some more options of how we can build more of these homes on more TfL lands. We're super excited for that. And just to bring you up to speed, TfL has 5,700 acres of land. That's the size of the borough of Camden, and we can build these homes on much of that land quickly and solve the problem of affordable housing. And again, I couldn't be more happy, and just want to put up a quick picture here. This is Chris Wilkinson. He's an incredible man, and I really appreciate all the work he's done behind the scenes, and his 200-person architectural firm, and all the thought they've put into these homes. And Chris has a great vision. He loves London. And he's built some incredible structures. And again, this is a picture of one of them. This is the Crystal that actually is going to be part of our new home as the mayor's office. When we move in, part of our offices will be moving out to the Crystal here. He built that along with the Emirates cable car, all for the London Olympics. And Chris is an amazing man, and I really appreciate his support. So again, Lewisham, this is something that we're going to do. Again, this is a tangible results of your vote on May 6th for Brian Rose is going to give these houses in places like Hackney Wick, in boroughs like Lewisham, in boroughs like Southwark. We can build these modular homes in every single borough in London. All we have to do is be given the chance. And again, this is what shows when you have innovation, a drive, optimism, and everything that we embody here at the London Real Party, and we couldn't be more excited. So again, I want to get in today's show. I want to talk about LTNs. I want to talk about housing. I want to talk about the polls. But let me first get to your questions. So again, type in your questions right now. First of all, tell me, what borough do you live in? What city do you live in? What question do you want to ask me? What challenges do you face? Next, tell me, are you excited for the London Real Party, and who are you going to vote for on May 6th? Third, a lot of the polls are saying different things than what I'm feeling on the streets. Do you believe the polls? Do you believe the two-party system tries to dominate the media structure? And do you think it's time for new ideas and a fresh perspective? Fourth, do you agree with my policies on LTNs, on abolishing the congestion charge, and on building affordable housing? And finally, do you think it's time for new leadership, new vision, and taking London in a new direction? Type your questions in right now. I'm going here right now to find out from you. And we've got some great people typing in questions. We appreciate you. Share this video if you're watching it now with your social media feeds, with your WhatsApp groups. Let's get the word out. We've got John in Bexley asking me via our website. He says, quote, I would like to know what you would do about all the road closures, especially in central London, and how you would help the London black cabs. What would you do about Uber in central London, and Khan is trying to stop black cabs using bus lanes? What would you do about this? End quote. John, I really appreciate this. I was actually speaking with Mohammed, a taxi driver from Somalia recently. He drives one of the London black cabs. I was actually talking to Sunday, originally from Nigeria, who I spoke to out on Old Street the other day. That video went viral, watched 100,000 times. You can go watch that on our Instagram feed. That's his name, Sunday. I love that name. And these are taxi drivers that are frustrated with the current mayor of London because he's trying to bankrupt all of them. And I appreciate the taxi trade because they're entrepreneurs. They spend 3 or 4 years of their life studying the streets of London. It's called the knowledge. They spend 65,000, 70,000 pounds for a environmentally friendly electric taxi cab. And then the mayor tries to ruin their opportunities for business. He tries to block them from going down roads with his street space scheme, which was deemed illegal in the high courts. He tries to prohibit them from going certain places. He tries to put these low traffic neighborhoods to not support them. He doesn't recognize they're part of TfL, even though black taxis are the only people who can pick up handicapped individuals in certain areas of London, and yet the mayor doesn't even support them as a useful and necessary service. I think that's ridiculous. I want to support any entrepreneur that brings business to our city. I want to support black taxi drivers, and I want to make our roads more open and freer to traffic. If London can't move, we can't move forward. And that's one of the biggest issues we see with this city. The mayor has made mistakes in public. Usually he gets heckled by his voters. He has to hide for a while, and then he runs off to his armor-plated vehicle back to City Hall, where he realizes that nobody likes his policies. Nobody appreciates the fact that he just cares about his own career. And he's actually creating policies that hurt the neighborhoods, hurt the citizens, tax them during times of recession, and people have had enough. So John, I appreciate the question. I've had this conversation probably hundreds of times with taxi drivers, with citizens in the street, with Uber drivers, who, by the way, love my plan to abolish the congestion charge because it directly affects their business. The black cab drivers really appreciate the fact that I want to get London back to work and get 20 million people in the city for our great celebration in August, which I'll talk about later. And they really appreciate the fact that I'm an entrepreneur. I come from 30 years of business experience. I've worked in automotive, I've worked in aerospace, I've worked on Wall Street, I've worked in the City of London, I've worked in new media, I've worked in digital education. And I understand what it takes to get something done in the business world. That's why I've already shown you drawings of my affordable homes. And that's why I plan to take London in a new direction. So a great question. I want to shout out some of the people that are on Instagram. We got Elle McPherson, who's up early in Miami. What's up, Elle? And Elle is the supermodel, Elle McPherson. We really appreciate you, Elle. She's been a big supporter of our campaign. And she says, great work. You're doing so well. Missing London. Elle used to live here for many years. Back in the day, I think Notting Hill, because I used to live there as well. And Elle, we appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And thanks for being up early and supporting us on the Brian for Mayor campaign. I got Nayara Silva Official on Instagram that says, how are you planning to put the price of rent down? A great question, Nayara, and I'm going to share with you again more of my plans for affordable homes. But you know, it's time to stop talking about building homes and start building homes. It's just that simple. Again, where I come from in the business world, you do what you say you do or you go bankrupt. And so I've got a man like Chris Wilkinson. He's our special advisor on housing. He's already designed exactly what the houses look like in situ. All we have to do now is get me elected, and we're going to build those very homes on that very space before Christmas. And I can't wait to celebrate Christmas with the people that have just moved into those new homes. I'm going to come over there. Mariana's going to cook a turkey. We're going to have a great celebration of actually doing something for Londoners. I can't wait for Christmas this year because we're going to celebrate a big win for Londoners and a big win for politics and politicians of doing what they finally say. So it's a great question and we appreciate it. I got Amber London on Instagram says, Brian is the real deal, voting for you. Thank you so much. I got Critical Approach on Instagram says, just can't wait to get an independent up in there. And I know how you feel. It's time for an independent voice. Enough of the politics. Let's just go get the right things done. We've got 6 Ronan on Instagram. It says, go get them, brother. I appreciate that. I got Art Burke on Instagram says, Brian motivated you to decide to go for mayor in London. You to decide to, oh, maybe it's a question. What motivated me to decide to go for mayor in London? I think that's the question, Art. So it's a great question. You know, somebody on the street asked me this. They said, why are you doing this? Like, you know, it's a bank holiday today in London, which means no one's working. Now, why are you here, dressed in your suit, with your bus, going to spend the whole day on the road, digital live streaming with people? And I said, it's a great question. You're right. I actually have better things to do. But I actually don't, because the future of this city is so important to me. And if I decided to sleep in today and stay at home, I would know that maybe not next year, but 5 years, 10 years from now, my city would suffer. And pretty soon, there would be less opportunities. And pretty soon then my children would suffer. And pretty soon they would see knife crime going up. They would see the economy going down. They would see rents going up because there was no affordable housing. They would see our transport infrastructure going bankrupt. And then ultimately, I would have to know that I didn't do something about it. And so that's why I'm out here. I'm motivated because I want to see change for this city. And quite honestly, it's so easy to make these changes. You just got to stop the politics. That's all you have to do, and we can make these changes. And I've spoken with senior members of the Metropolitan Police, senior members of Transport for London, senior members in house building like Chris Wilkinson, and they've all said this one thing. It's politics that stops London from getting better. That's it. It's politicians that stop the real work from getting done, because it's not complicated. 10,000 more officers on the street. I know how to find the £300 million to pay for it. £100 million corporate for communities going right in to our community centers to give our youth other options besides gangs, like entrepreneurship. I know how to build 50,000 new homes, and I got people like Chris Wilkinson ready to do it with me. I know how to run TfL at a profit, and I've got people that are willing to do it with me. I know how to rebuild the economy with something like the Great Celebration in London, 31 days, street fairs during the day, music festivals at night. I know how to do this. It's right in front of us. And that's what's most frustrating for me, is that the solutions are there. We just have the wrong leaders. And so that's why I'm motivated, and that's a great question, and thanks for asking for me. A couple more before I want to get back to today's episode and show. I got Sinead on Instagram saying, I'm voting for you. I got the Fat Runner on Instagram says, you've got at least one vote in Croydon. Thank you so much. I was out in Croydon last week. I saw Eliza, our good friend at the Lives Not Knives charity. Amazing. Also, I was hanging out with the Revivify people and Dexter out there, who was asking me hard questions live on his YouTube channel. You can go watch that out there. You'll see hundreds of conversations with me out there on the streets, talking with real Londoners. They ask hard questions. They said, how are you going to rebuild the economy? What are you going to do about stop and search? How are you going to get us better policing? How are you going to help the communities? I answer the questions whenever I can, as much as I can. Whereas the current mayor of London, literally, he's been told by the Labour Party he's not allowed to go out in public because it would, quote unquote, jeopardize the election. Those are your two choices right now. Someone hiding and someone who's spending his bank holiday out here in the streets with you. And I'm really proud of that. So a couple more questions. I want to get back to it. John Henry on Instagram says, I've got your picture on the side of my car. John, take a picture of that. Hashtag Brian for Mayor. I got to see this. I got Prime on YouTube saying, salute to Brian. Keep doing your thing. And this just in. Oh my gosh. Got some news here from my team on the bus. The London Real Party page just went live at brianformayor.london/assembly. Again, we are fielding 4 candidates for the London Assembly. And it just shows you that we are dedicated to London politics for the next 20 years, and we're really excited about that. So, again, let's jump back into everything happening today on the show. The first thing I want to talk about is the polls. And one of the things that the reporter asked me from the Times is, he's a great guy. His name is Damien. I really appreciate the article, Damien. I thought you were hard but fair. And he said, Brian, the polls say that the current mayor of London is going to get reelected. And I said, well, hold on a second. First of all, everybody I meet in the streets, they hate the mayor of London, and they like my policies once they get to know what I'm about. So my polls on the streets have me at a 98% chance of winning right now. Now, the polls in the newspapers are different. And if you look into how the polls are done, it's very interesting. First of all, polling companies haven't had a good track record. Back in 2016, they predicted Hillary Clinton would be the next president of the United States. That didn't work out so well for that polling company. In 2019, they said that it was a very close race between conservatives and Labor. What happened? It was one of the biggest upsets in political history. The conservatives dominated the entire country. They were wrong again. And even if you look last year in the American presidential elections, the polls did not call it correctly. So why are we believing them now for the mayor of London? The truth is the polling companies, call people up on their phones in their homes at night. First of all, I don't even have a phone in my home. I don't pick up phone calls from strangers at night, and I don't talk to them for 15 or 20 minutes asking questions about politics. So again, who are they talking to? They're not talking to real Londoners in the streets. And so don't believe those polls. The polls are all part of the two-party system that kind of feeds on its own narrative. The media only features the two parties. The BBC had two candidates on for a debate, even though I've been in second place for this race for the past 4 months. Again, don't believe the hype, because the hype creates reality, and then the reality creates more hype. My polls tell us we're going to win this easily on May 6th, but make sure you go out and vote anyways. But I wanted to call that out there. I don't believe the polls. What I do believe is what I see online. We've served up 1.5 billion impressions, that's with a B, of my London, Brian for Mayor London campaign, of our London Real Party. And we're really excited about all the support we're getting on the streets, people honking their horns, people stopping me. And that's how I feel about those polls. And that's why I know they're really not correct when it comes down to that. So just on that, I want to say that. Let's talk about low traffic neighborhoods. Now, LTNs, or low traffic neighborhoods, are a scheme cooked up by the Mayor of London. On the top floor of his glass building, he never went out and consulted with people on the streets. And he decided to introduce his controversial street space program in May of last year. And it was right in the middle of lockdown. And he promised at the time to, quote, give the streets back to the people, unquote, right? Sounds exactly like something our current mayor would say, right? And yet just months later, after he tried to push through that scheme, the High Court ruled that he, quote, took advantage of the pandemic to push through his, quote unquote, radical changes to our transport network with no contribution from residents and other stakeholders. That's the problem. He never talks with the businesses. He never talks with the residents. Here is the reality of his low traffic neighborhoods and his street space scheme. Both Islington and Wandsworth councils had to alter or reverse the LTN roads due to concerns from emergency services. Literally, ambulances can't even get in the roads. We have video footage of this. Also, leaked emails show that the London Fire Brigade is having to object to Ealing Council's proposals to use these immovable concrete blocks on the roads to create the LTNs. The fire brigade can't have them there or they can't do their job. But it goes even more. The Metropolitan Police have said that LTNs, quote, could also create crime hotspots where criminals will use these types of closures to evade police, unquote. Not to mention the residents. I was out speaking with Adam in Ealing a few weeks ago. We posted his video online. He was livid by the fact that he was getting fined to visit members of his family, that emissions were up, that businesses were going bankrupt. And so it frustrates me that why this is happening. So my question is this: why is the mayor pushing this street space initiative when our emergency services continue to highlight that they don't work? This is the fire service and the ambulances. He's doing it to raise revenue because his TfL is going bankrupt. And he thinks it's okay to raise literally millions of pounds of fines during the worst recession in 300 years from the hardworking residents of Lewisham, of Ealing, of Lambeth, of Southwark. And he's doing that to pay for his failures on TfL. And a lot of people said, well, that's because of the lockdown and COVID. That's not true. TfL was going bankrupt long before the lockdown happened, and that's the truth. He's run our TfL into the ground, and now he's trying to use increased congestion charges, increased ULEZ charges, expanded congestion charges, expanded ULEZ charges, and now these LTN fines to pay for his financial mismanagement of our transport networks. And look at Islington Council. Just 5 months ago, they generated almost £500,000 from these penalty charge notices they issued to people in their own neighborhoods for violating these LTN policies. Some residents have said they woke up one morning and there was one of those planter boxes, bollards, stuck in the middle of their road and they couldn't even get home. These schemes are not about promoting a better environment. They're about generating revenue, and it's very, very frustrated. And just days ago, we found out that TfL, which of course is basically the mayor's office, wins the right to take the Bishopsgate case to the Court of Appeal because it wants to get the low traffic schemes back on track. So the one ray of light that we had to see that maybe these illegal schemes might be finally blocked. Something that all the taxi drivers have been talking to me about. Why is he appealing this? We just want to be able to do our own jobs. Now it looks like the mayor might be getting his way because of the high courts, and this is just frustrating for me to see, and it's frustrating for everyone to see as well. And so this is what's happening. It's one of the reasons I'm going out to Lewisham today. I'm going to be stopping in some of these low traffic neighborhoods. I'm going to be talking to the citizens on the street. I'm going to be filming their reactions and their videos, and hopefully the mayor's watching this. Hopefully people can see, and that's the basis of all of my policies. I want to abolish the congestion charge until 2022 to get as much business into London to kickstart the economy. I want to rethink LTNs. I want to run TfL at a profit. I want to separate that land from TfL. I want to use it to build affordable homes on it with Chris Wilkinson, and I want to run TfL at a profit. I know we can do this. I've already seen the figures. I've got senior members in TfL that want to work with me. I've got people like Chris Wilkinson that want to work with me. All I need is your vote, and we can make this stuff happen on May 6th. And so look, I want to hear from you from the questions right now. First of all, tell me, what borough are you in? What city are you in? What's the question you want to ask me? What are you frustrated with? That's what I want to know right now. Next, tell me, are you excited for the London Real Party, and who are you going to vote for on May 6th? Third, do you believe the polls, or do you believe something else is going on here, that we actually have a real voice, and this is the time to break the two-party system stranglehold on government where you don't even know the options you have? It's very frustrating. Is it time for an independent voice? Next, do you agree with my policies to rethink LTNs, to abolish the congestion charge, and build 50,000 new homes by Christmas? And finally, do you think it's time for new leadership, a new vision, and to take London in a new direction? Can't wait to hear from you. A bunch of questions coming in here. By the way, share this video right now on your social posts, with your WhatsApp groups, maybe to an email group right now. Leave me a question right now. Give me some hearts and love on Instagram. A bunch of questions coming in here. Man, I'm going to try to read them all out. There's definitely some people hanging out on a bank holiday and watching me, which makes me happy. First of all, from the website, and you can always submit questions on my website at all times. I read them all, and I try to read out as many as I can on these episodes. I got Dale in Newham. I was at Newham the other day. You got a great statue there of all the World Cup winners from 1966. I was out in Newham as well when I was doing some photo shoots out at the Olympic Park. Love it in Newham. Dale asks via the website, quote, "Hi Brian and team, I'm inquiring if you have a manifesto, PDF, or a Word doc for review, as I prefer looking through that than just the short briefs on policies on the website." That's what Dale said, unquote. First of all, Dale, I'm happy you're actually reading our policies. It means you're engaged as a citizen of London, and that makes me happy. And honestly, I think we're changing the game. I think the Brian for Mayor campaign is making politics sexy again. That's what we're trying to do. That nothing is worse than apathy. If the citizens on the streets don't care about their leaders and don't care about the policies in their own streets, there's something is fundamentally wrong, because this is your city. I'm talking about your businesses. I'm talking about the safety of your children. I'm talking about your homes. I'm talking about your transport networks. So if I can be a conduit to engage you in politics through my digital networks, my 5 million followers, my 500 million views on London Real, that makes me happy, first of all. Second of all, the fact that you've gone to my website and watched some of my policy videos, that makes me extremely happy. But the fact that you want more, Dale, that makes me even happier, because I've got policies as deep as they go, as deep as they go. My policies are 10 times better than the current mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. They are 10 times better than the Conservative candidate who his own party abandoned a few weeks ago. They're 10 times better than anybody else who's late to this new, mayoral race who says they want to be mayor of London. Our policies are better, and I've got more detail. The reason I don't go into detail is because I could talk for hours about housing policy, transport, police, community centers. So the manifesto is dropping in a matter of days. Now I'm predicting this. My team's probably working behind the scenes, that it could be at brianformayor.london/manifesto. You can probably download that PDF. It's going to be there in a matter of days. I think it's going to be 50 plus pages long. And again, let me just say this. If a mayor doesn't have a manifesto, they haven't thought about this stuff. There'll probably only be a few that bother. I'm the only one that wrote his own. The others were probably created by a party and by a committee. Again, to be clear, all of these ideas come from me and my team and listening to you. I have no corporate donors. I have no backroom deals. I have no special agendas. I have no members of parliament that I have to check with before I talk about something. I give it to you straight. These are the best ideas in the business. I'll take ideas from the Conservatives. I'll take ideas from the Labour, as long as they do the best thing for Londoners. Again, that's all I want to do for my term as mayor, is do the best thing for Londoners, and no excuses. That should be on my new policy. No excuses, just results. That's my plan as your next mayor of London. We're going to build the homes. We're going to run transport at a profit. We're going to reduce knife crime, more officers on the street. We're going to kickstart this economy like nobody's business. 20 million people in London in August, safely. That's what the great celebration is going to do. So thank you, Dale. You got me all fired up there. I appreciate you. Manifesto's coming soon. That will be in print as well. It's going to be a beautiful document. It will be the new standard for manifestos going forward. And again, I just want to say, I think our campaign is the new standard going forward. Going forward, you're going to expect your next mayor of London to communicate with you digitally and transparently. You're going to expect them to come to every single borough of London. You're going to expect them to build a battle bus and travel over 3,000 miles through the city, talking with citizens on the street. You're going to expect that they engage with citizens on the street in real time, to be filmed however they want, as opposed to going to run and hide like the current politicians do. That's the new standard, and we're really proud of these standards. And I think also members of parliament are also going to have to follow our new standards of transparency, of access to the people, of honesty. And we're really proud of that. So a couple more questions coming through here. Again, really appreciate all of them. There's a lot. I don't know if I get through all of them. I'm going to try. I got a man of many talents on Instagram says, will you get rid of a congestion charge increase? The congestion charge drops to 0 until 2022. That's to get as many people in London to kickstart the economy. Then I want to rethink the congestion charge. But the only reason the mayor increased it is because he's bankrupting his own TfL. So he taxes you to pay for his own mistakes. I'm going to find a way to run TfL at a profit and only use the congestion charge for one reason: to reduce congestion. That's why it was created. Except now it's being used to generate revenue. That's wrong, and I'm going to rethink that. Tracy Live on Instagram says, met Brian a few times and really excited for you going for it. Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate you. 6Biz on Instagram says, this is revolutionary compared to the other puppets, unquote. You said it, not me. You said it, not me. Angela Middleton on Instagram says, I love your passion, and I'm sure Boris backs you. That's a good question. I don't know if Boris backs me. Honestly, I think we're setting a new standard for Boris himself as well. But hopefully he can step up and do some of the things that we're doing when it comes to honesty, transparency, great policies. I got Lord Muck on YouTube that says, I'm in Lambeth, and my issue is LTNs, the dismantling of community, and the creation of no-go areas in my city. These are all great questions. I've been in Lambeth many, many times. The LTNs we're talking about today, and communities need a lot more investment. It's going to come from corporates. That's what I'm going to do, get hundreds of millions of pounds from corporates directly into the communities, and we need to make our cities safer. I actually make a difference on all of that. I got OJ Matthew on YouTube that says, how are you going to implement these big policy changes without the current Tory government financial support or approval? We don't need their support and approval. And that's why I'm creating something called an infrastructure levy. And this is an incredible, innovative tax that basically gets value from all of the tens of billions of pounds that the tube network and Transport for London creates. Let me take an example. The Jubilee Line extension brought millions of people every single day out to the Isle of Dogs and Canary Wharf, where you've seen all of these high-rise buildings pop up. You've seen the banking industry thrive. Tens of billions of pounds are being made out there, and yet TfL is going bankrupt. Does that make sense to you? No. So what we're going to do is create an infrastructure levy where 2 to 5% of the major gains over here, coming only because of the new tube lines, go right back to that TfL, and they make it run at a profit. This is how we're going to pay for the officers on the street. This is how we're going to drop the congestion charges, and we don't need the national government. So I will not be a mayor who blames other people for his failures. I will not be a mayor who always asks for billions of pounds in bailouts. I will not be a mayor that gets policy dictated to him by the national government. London is an incredible city. We're a massive generator of revenue for the entire country. We can stand alone and do everything we need to do. We just need the right politicians, the right leaders, and that's what I plan on doing. So great question. I got that guy Gray, who said, I've lived in London for the past 7 years. I've also worked as a tour guide, driving people in classic Mini Coopers. Why are you the man to rid us of the LTNs It says, make TFL amazing. Again, with the LTNs, it's simple. I see that they're not needed, and I also see that I don't need them for revenues for my bankrupt transportation system. Everything is linked. So I look at everything through the lens of business, and that's why I think I can make a massive change in London, and that's why I will. 30 years of business experience. The current mayor of London has 0, and we plan on changing that on May 6th. So a couple more questions. We got Z Monica on Instagram says, come on, Brian, get rid of Sadiq. Eric Gonzalez on Facebook says, that cheap housing plan is incredible, and it is. We're very excited about this whole process. I've got Olivia Boyce on Facebook that says, what qualifies for affordable housing, as the affordable housing near me starts from £500,000 upward? It's a great question, Olivia. The pictures I showed you, and I'm going to show you them again, these beautiful homes that are going to be built in a matter of months are price tagging for about £100,000 each, which is absolutely incredible. As you said yourself, a lot of these affordable homes are coming in at £300,000, £400,000, £500,000 each. That's not an affordable home, because again, no one's come up with an innovation there, and that's what we're doing right here. All right, a couple more questions and I'll get back to my final point. Sean Frausto on Instagram says, you're a motivation, Brian Rose. You will be mayor. Thank you so much. We got Helen London on Instagram. It says, Brian, thanks for pointing to bets on you winning. Hopefully I'm in for big pounds. Vote for Brian. Thanks, Helen. And the reason I quote the odds so often is because the polls don't represent how London feels. And when I look at the odds makers, and this is where, these guys actually see where money changes hands, they see that I am a clear second place and moving into first place. So that's why I like to do it. I don't condone gambling, but I do watch them because, from my opinion, that's a true indicator of what's going to happen on May 6th, which means we're in second place, moving into first place, and we plan on winning on May 6th. A couple more final pieces. Scott Marson Thompson on Facebook, it says, really hope you smash this, Brian. You're right, politicians can't run businesses. End of story. There's some horns going on out there. We got a lot of support out here in Lewisham. We appreciate you going by Wix here, and looking forward to coming out on the streets with everyone. All right, want to make a couple final points here before I wrap this up and get final questions, and that is, I want to talk about the London Real Party. So here it is, and there's a great picture of our party coming up here on screen, and I want to talk about the launch of the London Real Party. First of all, this made a lot of people stand up and take notice. They said, wow, Brian. First of all, we never really knew what was happening with your mayor for campaign. At first, we weren't sure. Then we saw how committed you were. Then we saw your policies. Then we saw your policies were better than anyone else. Then we saw that you are now an official candidate. Next, we saw you were in second place. This is a reality. And finally, we've seen the creation of the London Real Party. And this is finally a party for Londoners. And that's what we're really proud of. Of course, the London Real Party comes from my broadcasting platform. 10 years, we've been broadcasting free information to the citizens of London and the citizens of the world to make the world a better place, to transform it with new ideas. And that's exactly what I'm doing with the Brian for Mayor campaign. The London Real Party stands for determination. It stands for innovation. It stands for perseverance. It stands for fortitude. And it stands for that famous British indomitable spirit. That's what we're all about. We believe in great ideas. We believe in strong policies, and we believe in long-term outcomes. We're focused on the issues that matter to Londoners, which is jobs, transport, housing, and crime. Let's keep it simple. Those are the big ones. We believe that people want an alternative to the mainstream political parties. This two-party system, it's antiquated, and we know that people want a new choice, and we think that we can lead this incredible city in a brand new direction, a direction that promises a better economy, a direction that promises a strong education system, a new direction that guarantees world-class health services, better culture, new technology, transport, and environmental practices, a new direction that guarantees the human rights of this city. That includes freedom of speech as well. We have the most incredible city in the world, and the London Real Party promises to work tirelessly to make London a world-class city once again. I'm confident that together we can all make the London Real Party strong, and we can take London to the next level. And I am super excited that for the forthcoming London elections, we are fielding 4 people to become members of the Greater London Assembly, and that is me. I'm running for mayor, and I'm also running for assembly member. And joining me are my fellow London Real Party members. That's Paul Frost, Kim Murray, and Julian Bales. I'm super excited. They are all running with me. To find out more information about the London Real Party, go to brianformayor.london/assembly, and you can see more about our party and the candidates. And you can also join the party today if you want. Go to that link, become a part of the future. And again, I couldn't even be more excited about showing the world that we are here for the next 10, 20, 30 years. I want to make a long-term difference on this city. I've been doing it for 10 years. I just called it content creation and my academy and our live events. Now it's gone into the political sphere, but the spirit is the same. We just want to make this a better place. We want to transform lives. We want to really make a difference, and I want to make this a place that my sons can feel proud of, that they can feel safe in, that we can all feel safe in. And I was having real conversations on the streets with people today, and I told them, I said, Londoners are great people. They really care. The police want to be better. You know, people want more affordable homes. TfL doesn't want to run into bankruptcy. We just got to empower them with real leadership and accountability, and that's what I plan on doing as your next mayor of London. So finally, want to go last time to the questions. And again, I appreciate everybody putting them in here. Last time, last chance, you got a question. What borough are you in, and what question would you like to answer, me to answer for you? What city are you in if you're not here in London? Next, are you excited for our London Real Party? Come on, give it up. And who will you vote for on May 6th? Do you believe the polls are right? Or do you believe that the people are right? That's the question. Is it time for an independent voice, fresh ideas, and to take London in a new direction? Next, do you agree with my policies to rethink LTNs, abolish the congestion charge, and build 50,000 new homes by Christmas? Imagine it. Do you believe in those? And finally, is it time that we break the two-party system, the stranglehold they have on our governments, on our media? They've done no innovation for the past 50 years. Is it time for new ideas, a fresh perspective, and to take London in a new direction? I want to go to your questions now. Again, too many here to even put out. I mean, wow, I'm blown away here. I'm going to try to get them as many as possible. First, I want to take one from our website. That's Nelofar in Croydon. Was out there just a week or so ago. Asked via the website. Says, good luck for your win, and when you will be a mayor of London. How will you be able to solve complex problems? For me, it is knife killings in the roads and expensive and unaffordable living in London. How will you implement solutions? Nelifar, it's a great question for knife crime. It's about 10,000 officers on the street, but they're better trained and fully digitized. It's about £100 million in my Corporates for Communities plan to give our young people better alternatives after school, what they can actually do with their lives. Next, it's about rebuilding the economy. When everyone has more economic opportunities, it makes this city thrive, period. And I'm all for that, which is beautiful. And I just want to give a big shout out to Lewisham. It's beautiful and green out here, and it's a great place to spend a bank holiday. And that's my plan. I'm going to implement these solutions. I'm going to hold people accountable. And I've got a track record of 30 years in the industry. I get things done, and I know how to hold people accountable. So thank you so much. Last few questions here. I'll try to get them as many as possible. They're everywhere. I got Miss Carolina on Instagram. It says, Brian, will those affordable houses be in the first zone of London or far away from the city center? I'm just curious because the idea sounds great. We're going to put them in all boroughs. Like I said, TfL has 5,700 acres of land all over the city. And you can fit a few here and a few here and a few here. I want to change all the boroughs, zone 1 out to zone 6. So I hope that answers your question. I want to build them as fast as humanly possible. And again, working with Chris Wilkinson, we're going to make this happen, and we're very excited. Atomic SF on Instagram says, would you run for Prime Minister? Well, look, we've just launched a political party. The future is wherever we want to take it. The truth is that I need your support. The more people we have in the London Real Party, the better. The more voices I have of yours on the streets, the more you share our assets on your social platforms, hashtag Brian for Mayor, the more power we have. We can take this all the way. As long as we make London a better place, Britain a better place, the world a better place, I'm all in. We got Christine Jackson says simply, no more of Khan, please. Amen to that. We got Colo Simone on Instagram says, Brian, did you even have any airtime on national TV? You being the mayor of London would be a game changer worldwide, unquote. Cholo, I'm still waiting for the BBC to invite me on a debate. I've been hashtagging and tweeting them at him every single day. If you don't mind, go over to the BBC social channels right now and say, when will you invite Brian Rose on a debate? He's the second place candidate. So we're waiting for that. We have been on RT, and we're waiting to get a lot more national mainstream media. But I'll go anywhere, anytime. I challenged the mayor, Sadiq Khan, to a debate almost 3 months ago now. I said, Sadiq Khan, Why won't you debate me? I'm ready anytime, anywhere, anyhow. I'll do it right now on Zoom. I'll pull the bus over. We can do it in Lewisham if you want. We can do it at your City Hall headquarters. We can do it on the BBC in the fancy studios. However you want to do it, let's give the voters all the information and let them decide. But currently, the mayor is running and hiding away from me, just like he did with the people from Enfield when they try to ask him some simple questions about his LTN. He runs and he hides. Again, I don't even know if he's allowed out in public until May 6th. So we'll see what he says. But Mayor, we can do it inside. If you're not allowed to go outside, I'm happy to come over to the office where there's no citizens that might heckle you, and we can do a debate over there if that makes you feel more comfortable. So whatever you want to do it, let's just do it and let the people decide. But it's a great question. Let's ask the BBC and these so-called objective journalists that are out there, why is Brian Rose not being invited? He's clearly the second place candidate. What's going on? It's a good question, and I'm a little curious myself. All right, a couple more final questions. I've got Ixay on Instagram that says, we're really happy and lucky to have you. Thank you. The pleasure's all mine. Honestly, it's an honor to come out here on a bank holiday and represent. It really is. I got Giorgio Varga on Facebook that says, polls don't matter. You must be the next mayor to fix all the issues here, and you will be. It's true, Giorgio. If I don't do this, no one's going to fix these problems, and we might have another 50 years before there's an independent candidate like myself that will put these ideas out there. So I appreciate you. Johnny Porter on Instagram says, stop congestion charge coming to South London. Johnny, I want to stop it entirely. Again, it's the wrong tool to fix a bankrupt transportation system. I'm going to run TfL at a profit. Then we don't need the congestion charge for revenue. Again, the mayor could never even conceive of this idea, let alone execute it. So if you want change, you've got to find the right person, and that's me. I got Damon on Instagram says, London Real opened my mind. Thank you. For 10 years, we've been putting out information out there for free. So if people want to know about me, I've been out there for 10 years. You can see my whole history, and you can see my contribution. I got Charismatic Chris on Instagram says, I'm from Barnet. How would you deal with the rising knife crime rates in London? I was out in Barnet last week, visiting some of my good friends out there. Knife crime has a two-pronged solution. First, 10,000 more officers on the street, but better trained officers. Next, 100 million pounds per year for our community centers. You put those together, I guarantee knife crime will be dropped significantly year on year when I'm your mayor of London. Guarantee it. It will happen. And I hold people accountable, and I'll publish the figures every single month. And I'll publish them right in front of you in a digitally and transparent way, and I'll work this problem until I guarantee results. That's what we do in business. That's what I've done my whole life. And that's what I'll do as your next mayor of London. We've got Brian Goldsmith on YouTube says, vote Brian Rose. 3 more years of Khan and we are finished. Brian's the only candidate that can beat Khan, and it's true. I am the only candidate. He knows it. I know it. Citizens of London know it as well. And on May 6th, I will beat Sadiq Khan, but I need your help. So let's go to the polls and let's make this thing happen. I got Australian Mitch on Instagram says, I don't like the London mayor. He's incompetent. It's true. He is completely incompetent. He's smug. He's aloof. He doesn't like the people. He doesn't care about London. He doesn't care about Londoners. The truth is he couldn't get a job in the private sector if his life depended on it. So this is his only option. But that doesn't mean we have to pay for that incompetence. So it's time to fire Sadiq Khan on May 6th. You can do it by voting for me. We've got a couple more questions here. I got Ark Doggy Daycare. These are great names on Instagram. Says, no more closing of our gyms, please. If you keep the gyms open, you will have the lifters vote. Ark, I'm with you 100%, which is why Nick Wickcombe is one of my special advisors. He's my special advisor on health and well-being, and he was the gentleman that went head-to-head and stood in the face of fear up in Merseyside near Liverpool when armed police officers tried to shut his gym down, and he said, no, this doesn't make sense. Gyms are only responsible for 1.7% of COVID transmissions. We got to keep gyms open. I want to support gyms and the hospitality sector that only really are responsible for a small percent of transmission. So let's open them up now. We can find a safe way to get people back working out. I train every single day, and I think it's an important part of our mental well-being for sure. A couple more final questions. I got Joshua Lee Graham says, why do you think Londoners aren't given the opportunity to see the debate, to understand the solutions you're offering? It's a great question, Joshua. I really don't know why But it seems to me like they just don't give you the information and the options, and we've got to change this now. Karen Spence on Facebook says, this country needs you, Brian. Confident in you. Frank Morris on YouTube says, someone with a bit savvy, not an ex-lawyer or career politician. Come on, vote for Brian. I think Frank is making reference to our current mayor of London. Sadiq Khan, lawyer. I don't think he's ever run a business in his life, and we've got to vote for a change right now. Lion Entity on YouTube says, quote, Brian, you deserve your own Netflix docuseries building up on how you become mayor. Seriously. All right, thanks, Lion. I appreciate that. And look, we might be doing a little filming behind the scenes there because we do think we're making history. We think we're doing something really special here. We think we are going to be setting the bar really high for all political races in the future. You've got to be transparent. You've got to be passionate. You've got to have a vision for the future. You also have to be a real leader that can bring attention of the world to the city or whatever country you're representing. That's what I plan to be. I plan to be a champion for London. I want to bring business to London. I want to see change happen in London. I want to build the Metropolitan Police up. I want to make it safer for our streets. I want to invest in the communities. I want to build these affordable homes. I want to fix our transportation issues. And that's what I plan to do as your next mayor of London. Again, the time is now. We've got 4.5 weeks left until this race is over. And then it doesn't matter after that. You've got to show up on May 6th. You've got to register to vote. Go to votefirst.london if you want to register to vote right now. And then vote. You can do it by postal vote. Go to our website, brianformayor.london/postal. You can make it happen, but you've got to show. Otherwise, if you don't vote for me, then you are asking for 3 or 4 more years of whatever is happening with the current mayor. I don't think anyone wants that. So you've got to play an active role in your city and the future of your city, and this is the chance to do it right now. So again, just want to thank everybody for tuning in today and for asking these hard questions. If you can right now, share this video with all of your social platforms. Share it with your WhatsApp groups. Email it to all of your friends and family, even if they live in London or they don't. Maybe post it on your social, hashtag Brian for Mayor. Maybe do a quick video after this and say, hey, I just heard about this guy, Brian Rose. He's got some cool policies. Hashtag Brian for Mayor. I'll send you a coffee cup. Also, go to our website, leave me questions, find out my bus schedule. I'm coming to every single borough of London. I've already been to every single borough. I'm coming back. We've done over 3,000 miles. I'm coming out into the streets. I want to have conversations with you. I've got real ideas. I've got real solutions. I don't run and hide. I stand and deliver. And that's what I plan on doing for the next 4 weeks and for the next 4 years as your next mayor of London. I couldn't be more excited. This is hard work behind the scenes. I just want to thank my entire team for working 24/7 to make all of this a reality. There's a lot of work that goes into presenting you these ideas, but we do it because we're so passionate. We all love London so much. We want to see a better London for our children, for our grandchildren, and we're doing all this work because we think this matters, and it does matter. And some people are noticing. Let's get more people to notice as well. On May 6th, let's make history. Let's create the greatest upset in British political history. The London Real Party, an independent voice, fresh ideas, and a new direction. I couldn't be more excited. So again, happy Good Friday to everybody. Hope you have a wonderful Easter weekend, whatever you're doing. But again, find a way to make a difference in your community, whatever you do. I'm here trying to run for mayor. Well, whatever you do, get out there and make a difference. Do something special for someone else. Add value to your community. Do something great today. And we're going to have a fantastic city here in London and all over the world as well. So there you go. Thank you so much. This has been Battle Bus Live. I'll see you next time in Lewisham. I'm coming to see you right now. Thank you so much. Take care.
My name is Brian Rose, and I plan to be your next mayor of London. I want to lead this incredible city in a new direction by rebuilding our broken economy, reducing the frightening levels of crime, building affordable housing, and fixing our broken transportation system. I love London. I love the people, the history, the spirit, the culture, the diversity. It embodies everything I hold dear in my heart. I believe it truly is the greatest city in the world. I have lived here for over 20 years. I became a British citizen in 2007. My 2 young boys were born here, and I plan on being buried in this great city. For the past 10 years, I've been the founder and host of London Real, my broadcasting and education platform with over 5 million subscribers and 500 million views. I have now decided to stand for Mayor of London because of one fundamental reason. I can no longer sit idly by and watch our current crop of politicians drive this incredible city into the ground. The current mayor has decimated our economy and failed to deliver on crime, housing, and transport. Now is the time for an independent voice and fresh ideas to lead London in a new direction. First, I will kickstart London's economy using my 30 years of industry experience to empower businesses to rebuild rapidly and safely. My proposed business rates and congestion charge holiday until the end of 2021 will maximize footfall in the city and help our economy rebound. Second, I will lower crime by investing in more police, better trained police, and the digitization of the police. This, combined with £100 million in corporate funding for 250 community centres across London, will give our young people the opportunities and support they need. Third, I will build 50,000 new affordable homes by Christmas 2021, utilizing land owned by TfL and modular building technology to quickly and efficiently deliver world-class affordable homes. Fourth, I will fix our bankrupt transportation system by properly developing TfL's vast land holdings and introduce an infrastructure levy to capture the billions of pounds of value created by the network. I would then rethink, remove, and reduce low-traffic neighborhoods and congestion charges. These issues are crucial to all Londoners, and every borough faces its unique challenges. Which is why I have traveled over 3,000 miles touring every single one of the 32 boroughs of London on my digital battle bus, while video live streaming my ideas directly to our citizens and listening to your detailed feedback. I have been overwhelmed by the incredible amount of support from real Londoners who love their city and simply want a better future for their friends, families, and communities. On my tour, I have learned three things. Londoners want change. Londoners want new ideas. Londoners want real leadership. Our great city now faces a critical fork in the road. On May 6th, your vote will decide what happens next in this most crucial time of our century. You can choose to have 3 more years of the same excuses, or you can choose to take London in a new direction with fresh ideas and an independent voice. We have the most incredible city in the world, and I promise to work tirelessly to make London a world-class city once again. I am confident that together we will accomplish our mission. On May 6th, vote for Brian Rose. A vote for change and a vote for the future.